What's up, everybody? It's your friend Tyler here.
And I'm Kai.
And you are watching Geek Radar. So, Kyle, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Joker.
Yes, and we talked about this forever. Yep. As soon as we seen it, we were just like, this is a modern-day masterpiece.
Yep, it's so good. There are so many pivotal moments in the movie where, like, you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. If you're into, like, thrillers, especially. Yes. I feel like it was more on like the thriller take than anything. However, like it's not very action packed. A lot of people said like it's a slow burn,
and I really like that about the film.
Exactly, and like that's kind of what I like about like Drive, for example. There's action.
Oh man,
we need to.
Me and you are reviewing that one.
Fine by me. I watched it the other day, and I was like,
yeah, because you've got the jacket and everything.
Yeah, I got the jacket, the gloves, everything.
It's amazing.
So.
But do you think this movie right here needed a horror element?
No, I don't think so. I feel like if they tried to go for more of a horror element, it would have ended up like Jared Leto's Joker. And sorry if people like Jared Leto, but I absolutely hate him.
I call him a fucking vampire.
I mean, he's a meth head Joker.
Even though I loved him in Blade Runner 2049 as Wallace, he was absolutely amazing. You seen it in 4K and you was like, oh my god!
I mean, Jared Leto as an actor is great.
Yeah, I'm talking about just Blade Runner in general.
Yeah, Blade Runner.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And
no, Blade Runner was. Ooh, that was a good movie too.
The thing is, I felt a little bit of horror in this film, at least inspired with the way it was shot. But the way this was shot felt like freaking Scorsese. It felt like I was watching films back from the 70s: The Exorcist, Taxi Driver. Scarface.
Yeah.
I think Scarface actually came out in the 80s.
And you know what I haven't mentioned this even before we started recording, but I got a huge, like, The Departed vibe from it, too.
I wish I had a button that was like, ding, 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 ding. But, bro, we literally talked about that.
Yeah.
Like,
right after.
Yes, we did talk about it.
After we got out of the theater.
Yeah. Well, he's like, this feels like The Departed. And I told Stu, and he was like, that's like his favorite movie. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh my god! He's like, I gotta go see it.
Yeah.
But this film, it shows real mental health in the 80s.
Definitely, yeah. The lack of funding, seeing the decline in how they treated people with mental illness, especially before medicine became so readily available for people dealing with, psychosis and, other psychotic disorders. They just kind of throw them in an insane asylum, and that's it.
By the way, give a shout out to your channel and everything, because we have talked about, depression and stuff on, like, both of our channels and stuff.
Yeah, I've done a couple suicide prevention streams. So I stream on Twitch. Yes. My link is twitch.tv/SaintKai, and that is SaintKai.
I've known him for almost 2 decades, so trust me, he's a good dude.
2001.
And I also put out a video, Something That Needs to Be Said. You can find it right here on Geek Radar. It's really good, it'll make you uplift your day.
Yeah, I think it was a good video for even the people that are subscribers, but also just anybody going through YouTube. It was a good video to just tell everybody that, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. And we here have dealt with, it may not be the same thing or even similar experiences, but I myself am a very compassionate person, and so I feel for a lot of people's pain.
And I'm the same way, and that's why we get along so well. It's like we know each other so well, like even emotionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we've been around in this film, and like, share, and subscribe on Geek Radar and stuff, and we're coming out with new content every day, and I'm going to have him on here, sometimes, whenever.
Yep. I'll be throughout,
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to do even more videos tonight and stuff.
Yeah, I'm down.
But yeah, going back to the Joker now, the thing about this film is, like I said before, it felt like it was made way back because the director of this is absolutely amazing. And we've seen, his other movies, like, The Hangover, Due Date, and all that stuff. And we love those films.
And I think the closest in terms of, like, the closest relation between the previous films that Todd Phillips, right?
Yes.
Todd Phillips has done, and the Joker, you have the comedy aspects of, like, not even really The Hangover, but more so Due Date. There's a lot of, like, kind of weird, dark-ish humor in Due Date. and I saw a lot of that kind of carry over. But that also is kind of where I got like the Departed vibe from it, because there's also some dark humor in The Departed.
Yes.
But then also throughout The Departed, there's just twists after twist. And it's just like, oh, damn, you know.
Oh,
like,
man, that elevator scene?
Yeah, like the elevator scene at the end.
We're not going to spoil you
like
if you haven't seen The Departed.
I mean, if you haven't seen The Departed,
go check it out.
You need to do that, please.
Especially before this film.
It's a great movie. But, like, the Joker even had that.
Yes.
You know, there were moments where you were like, huh, okay. Oh, what? Like, it just kind of catches you off guard if you're not really, like, looking deeply into it.
Mm-hmm. This is a movie, too. Don't drink, like, a large Coke or whatever you're drinking.
Don't go to the bathroom, please.
Yeah.
I had to do it, and it was a nightmare. I ran to the bathroom, ran back, and I still missed too much.
Oh, yeah, I didn't go. I was like 35 minutes in, and I was like, oh, that huge cherry icy got me, and I was like, whatever, and I stuck through it, but like...
I thought me sitting on the edge of my seat was because I had to go to the bathroom, but it actually, after I went to the bathroom, it was just the movie. The movie is just like, oh, what's happening now?
Yes.
Like, you just, excuse me, you just get into it. Like,
yes.
And it's not like a action-packed film. It's not like the Marvel movies, for example.
Yes.
It doesn't even have a similar story writing.
It feels like something completely new.
Yeah. It's like, it's completely new, but it's reminiscent on 70s and 80s films.
Exactly, and I've never seen a movie of a man slipping into darkness like the Joker has in here. And the thing is, like, with this, you know, he has the condition of mental health where he laughs whenever he's nervous or anything like that, because, and he actually has a card and he hands it to people. He's like, please hand back after you read this. So I thought that was pretty cool. It just wasn't something he was creeping about. And then we had the intro with the original WB the logo. I knew that's what set the film off. I was like, uh-oh.
And then when they just did the title Joker in like bold yellow
with the just pulling up his mouth,
and
you
him
see
pulling his cheeks, like, and then like, you know, the one tear just from pain.
Yes,
it's like he was kind of enjoying it almost.
Yes,
but like at the same time he was sad, and you get that feeling throughout that he's depressed because he doesn't fit in, but he wants to, and he thinks that he can. But in actuality, the world is just too cruel of a place for someone like him to fit in, especially in that 80s time period where, you know, if you had a mental illness, you were shunned pretty much.
Oh man, it's we've went into documentaries and all kinds of stuff. It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But with this, I really like the character of, or I'm going to call him Arthur right now. I usually just call him the Joker.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit easier, and it's like, because we've really never known his name too much. You know
I mean, they mentioned Arthur quite a few times. And, like, that's the thing also.
No, I'm talking about with, like, the comics.
Oh, okay.
We really don't know his name too much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
Gotham
true.
or whatever. I haven't seen the Gotham show, but I think they gave him, like, the name Jerome or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know too much about that.
Gotham.
Yeah.
I think I've seen, like, 2 episodes of it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. So, what was your favorite part of the movie?
I think my
hands down, the most, like, jaw-dropping or most exciting moment of the movie.
When he shot Murray?
When he shot Murray, yeah.
Because
this is what you deserve! And
because
like,
the way it was, he came out, you know, he does, what can you... Call me the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you introduce me as Joker? And the thing is, with it, is after being humiliated by this guy, and I like that he came out, because I thought he was going to blow his brains out.
Yeah, I thought
I was like, shit, we are going to end this character, we'll never get him back.
Yep.
So, as soon as that, and he's like, I killed those 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went, and you know, the crowd kept, you know what I mean, oh, and he was like, is this true? How do you feel about it? And, you know, he was giving a speech. And, like, he literally pulls out the gun and just straight shoots him in the face.
Yep.
And gets into the camera as, like, everybody, you know, that's at this stuff rise up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember they cut the footage, like, the network cut it.
As he was about to say, let's put on a happy face.
Yeah.
And, like, at first, because it cuts off, you don't really hear what he says. But when it's showing all the different news networks, you know, cutting the feed, and then it's the news anchor saying, breaking news, there's one screen whenever it's zooming out where you see him and it doesn't cut the feed. And he says, let's put on a happy face. Yeah. And then he gets tackled by the police officer.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. That was a prominent thing, that saying or phrase that carried through the movie. Another one was, "I hope my death makes more sense than my life."
Yes.
And he spells sense like the currency, CENTS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the kind of person that like overanalyzes things like that. I'm like, what does it mean? You know?
What does it mean?
Yeah,
what are the numbers?
The numbers, Mason.
Yeah.
Like,
I was exactly thinking the same thing, because we used to say that same shit all the time.
All the time.
What are the numbers, babe?
And so, like, I was curious if, like, he meant, I hope my death makes more money than what my comedy career has made.
Yes.
As, you know, being alive. And in a way, Joaquin does die when he's on the Murray Show.
Yes,
or
because
it's fully called.
Let's just say this. Arthur died and the Joker began.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
And there was a solid decline. Like, you could see how, like, there were key points in the movie where it was like, he's slipping and there's no going back.
He was off his medication. You remember they cut the funding.
Yep. And he was like, I'm off my medication and I feel great. And I was like, oh, that homie's
and that was right after, I think, he killed the guy. He bashed his head in like 4 or 5 times.
That was right before.
It was right before.
Because he was asking about it. He was like, how you doing, Arthur? He was like, oh, I'm off my medicine and I feel good.
And I love it too, because it was a paper trail kill. It was like, oh, and stuff. But I was laughing in the theater of him mashing. Everybody thought I was going to like shoot up the place and stuff, because I was just like, ha ha ha, because I felt like it was horror, and the way he was doing it, it shows even further of how he's slipping. And he was like, oh, how's it going with the other guy? And he let him go because he was like, I have no quarrels with you.
Yeah, he was like, you've always been nice to me. And I didn't even think about it until after the movie. I was, just thinking about the movie. When Arthur loses his job, what's his name? It's right here. Gary.
Yeah.
Gary is the only guy who actually is like, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your job. Like,
yes.
Are you gonna be okay? Like, he's
a great character.
Cares about him. Yeah, Gary was cool. I'm like,
so glad they didn't do like where he's just stab, shoot,
yeah, like he didn't
everybody,
just start just killing everything.
He slipped into madness. He eliminated the paper trail. Then he turned into the Joker.
Yeah, because in a way he didn't really care.
Well, he killed his mother.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing that really set it off. But the thing is, with this, we know Batman is in this movie, but he's not Batman at this point. This is Bruce Wayne.
Little boy Bruce.
And as in the trailers we've seen, where he's doing the smile and everything, we find out. I knew it was Bruce.
Yeah.
But the thing I love is when I was on the edge of my seat with Thomas Wayne's like, is that your father? And I was just like, oh my God, just in my seat and stuff. And it was absolutely incredible. But then we find out the revelation that he is adopted and he actually has like injuries as a child and stuff. And I think he had
abused by not only his mother, but the stepfather or the boyfriend.
The boyfriend character or whatever. But he had I think he had brain damage, slight brain damage.
Yeah.
And it shows us, it's like, oh my God, like whenever you see that scene where he's trying to get the files and he just bangs his head against that and it scares the dude enough for him to snatch the files out. And then after that, I think that's when it was like, okay, I'm becoming somebody new.
Yep, for sure. And like I said, there's key moments where you're like, okay, he's turning into the Joker. Like, I can see it. I know the general idea of the Joker. Like, I know kind of how he originates, but I know, especially if you're familiar with Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yes.
Love.
Oh my God.
Such a good.
We got to see that together too. Is what I love so much.
And so, like, if you're familiar with Heath Ledger's Joker, you kind of can connect the dots and be like, oh, that explains this. And like, I mentioned it before. What do you think of like this Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, being the catalyst for the Heath Ledger Joker 30 years down the road in the Dark Knight trilogy? It could still kind of be a canon origin story.
Because it's its own thing.
It is, yeah.
Now, I would not mind that
because
who knows? Because we got always in the Dark Knight, how I got these scars and stuff. Yeah, what if that's the dad of the present day Joker?
Yep, exactly. And so it's like there's a lot of like what ifs, and that's what I love about films that kind of are open ended.
Blake's gonna be like, leave it alone. That's
Yeah.
the trilogy. But you know, this is great. I'm glad that you feel you don't.
Yeah. And another good movie that's open ended that I really like is Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that?
I actually said yeah.
That movie is just like, huh?
Yeah.
And so, like, I love movies like that because you look at the details in the movie, not just like, oh, there's a bunch of people fighting and shooting and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, kind of like also, you know, forgive me for bringing up video games in a movie review, but...
Oh, man, we're all media.
It's like video games for me as a streamer, I appreciate games like back in the 90s and early 2000s where
we were playing
where
together.
they didn't hold your hand. It was, you know... Okay, where the hell do I go?
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, exactly.
And all
you're going through all these corridors and you're trying to figure out where the hell you're going, and like it didn't hold your hand.
Trespass.
But when you finally, oh, that was so good. When you finally like figure out what you're supposed to do, you're like, oh, damn, and like you put the pieces of the lore together yourself, and that's what I love about that, and that's also what I appreciate about movies as well. Is like they leave it open for things like that. But yeah, so. I feel like they could somewhat canon Joker with the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yes.
It's not necessary. But what would you... How would you feel about, like, a sequel for Joker?
I would love it.
Do you think it needs it? Do you think... Like, do you want it? You know?
It doesn't need it, but I would love to have it.
Yeah.
As long as Joaquin is on board and, you know, we have the same...
Well, he is. They had an interview with Joaquin, I think it was this past week. And they asked, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do another one, but it's kind of up to WB." And
I'm sure,
yeah,
he'll probably be down the road. I think it'll be definitely after. Of
It'd
course,
probably be like
Matt
4
Reeves.
years from now.
That's what I'm saying. It'll definitely be after Matt Reeves' Batman.
Yeah,
and maybe if they set that up, you know what I mean. They set that up at the end. It's like, oh, he's the one that caused the riot. You know what I mean? Joker. I'm gonna have to go after Joker and do its own thing because if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure that's not based off a comic.
No.
I don't know.
Are you talking about the new Batman?
Yes, the new Batman with Robert Pattinson. He's a good actor to me, you know what I mean? He's done other stuff that's really good. The Lighthouse, we will watch the trailer. And the thing is with... This movie's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, sure you could find, you know, plot holes and whatever if you're really looking for it, but, you know, it's one of those movies where you kind of have to approach it as, like, this was an independent film. And then they're like, wait, why don't we make it a Joker origin story because it lines up with what we think the Joker is.
Speaking of plot holes, now with the imaginary girlfriend that, you know, is Domino and...
Yeah, you got
Deadpool too.
Yeah. Sophie in Joker.
Oh, woman's so beautiful. But the thing is with that, how did you feel it was from a standpoint, you know, if you're thinking into the mind of this guy, even though we don't have that thinking, of her being just an illusion. Do you think it was a plot hole that whenever he was revealed on the couch and she's like, you know, who are you and the whole thing?
Yeah, she's like, what are you doing here? You're Arthur right from down the hall or whatever.
I wish it would have shown, maybe we'll get like a director's cut or something like that. What happened to resolve that? Like, did he like, screw you or something like, or don't you know what I mean? More interaction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did he kill this killer? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
Because he had more, this Joker feels more conscience than we had than the other Jokers.
Yeah.
Because you remember in the Dark Knight, he's like, let her go. And he's like poor choice of words.
And just, you know, chucks her off the roof.
I don't feel like that this Joker would do that.
No, I don't think so. And, like, see, that's the thing. Like, you see time and time again, the people that he cares about, he doesn't mess with. You have Gary. He cared about Gary because Gary didn't mess with him.
Yeah.
He did that. He took care of his mother until he found out that she was also crazy, and she made up this whole story about Thomas being Arthur's dad.
Yeah.
So, like, that pissed him off. She lied to him. She beat him when he was a kid. You know, he had brain trauma and doesn't remember things like that.
Exactly.
Excuse me. And so, like, throughout the movie, you see, like, he cares about this person. He's not going to mess with them. His quarrel isn't with them. It's with the people who are horrible and try to mask it as, you know, we're just having fun or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the subway guys that work for Wayne Enterprises. with Murray. You know, he was making fun of Arthur's
on
comedy
live television,
act,
and that's
TV.
what I'm saying. And like he was so proud of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was Arthur's moment as a comedian. He felt
And
because he also was on that date with Sophie.
Yes, which he was
so,
by himself.
Exactly. He was by himself, but he thought that she was there. He believed that she was there, so he was putting on his best. And so he felt like that was his best. And then, because I can't remember if the call to be on the Murray Show was before or after the reveal that Sophie was not his girlfriend.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We'll have to do another watch for this.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it again.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing it again. Yes.
But
imagine on 4K.
I mean, I saw it in the GTX theater.
Yeah, same here. Whoa. Were you in the same theater with me?
In Pooler, yeah.
What time?
I went the showing after you.
Oh, were you? Okay.
So we probably would have passed each other.
Yeah.
My roommate and I showed up like 8 minutes after it started, but it was right when the trailers and stuff ended, so it was perfect. And I was like, woo, let's go. So it was, I don't know, but throughout the movie, he shows that there are people that he cares about that he won't mess with.
Yes. And I like that because that's never really been
a
thing with Joker.
Exactly.
You know?
Joker's just been anarchy. He's like, I'm going to kill everything other than Harley Quinn.
You know, I like it. Like, they even have, like, behind you, they have the new Harley Quinn stuff coming out. You know, the new Joker stuff. They're getting a lot darker with stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I can actually say I'm enjoying Jokers in comics now, and I really enjoy Harley Quinn. Because they're getting, like, I feel like after this movie, the comics are going to get even more extreme. Because they had a Batman Damned series that came out in comics, and you remember I told you about the Bat Wang, as I call it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that was a big controversy, and it's starting the Black Label series and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like DC in general is going down a dark route. And if you did you see Shazam?
I did not.
It is great. A lot of people are like, oh, it felt like too comedic, but it is absolutely great. But it had a dark tone to it with the enemies and stuff. I'll get you to watch that soon because you'll absolutely love it.
You know what else I just thought of? We literally have never talked about this before.
But Shazam was not as crazy as Joker, but sorry.
Another movie, superhero movie, so to speak, that I didn't make the connection until now is very similar.
Please don't tell me it's my favorite one.
Watchmen.
One of them. Watchmen was perfect.
You're rooting for him. You're like, hell yeah, kill him, you know, that kind of thing. And they're in a way the bad guys. Same thing with Joker. You're rooting Arthur on in a way because you're like, man, this guy's just getting the crap kicked out of him. Because like I want to see him rise up, and then he becomes Joker, and in a way you're like, yeah, but at the same time you're like, wait, he's bad. Like,
speaking of Watchmen,
I like him.
Go pick up that Ultimate Cut on 4K. It's my favorite comic book of all time, and they did an absolutely fantastic job, and I like the ending that they created.
Yeah.
Better than the slug monster that's just like that on New York.
Yeah.
In the comic. And I think my another favorite is Logan.
Logan was a great one.
Logan was a damned masterpiece to me.
For sure.
Like, that was a great send-off to that character, but, you know, this is Marvel and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But Watchmen is DC, you know, Shazam is DC, so... DC has made a lot of dark stuff. I mean, as I've said, and you said the movie feels perfect to me.
Yeah.
And it feels perfect to you, too, because it actually had you on the edge of your seat, especially as a comic fan. When I saw it, it was like a lot of people kind of disagree. Because they can't include everything that's in a comic in 2 hours.
Yeah, no, it's just
2
not
hours
possible.
and 30 minutes.
You could reference things, but then it would just be a movie full of references, and that's not fun to watch.
Now, the Ultimate Cut has a lot more in it and stuff. You know, it's longer, but for a theatrical run, I was happy with what we got. So I'm glad it was like, it might be one of you. I was like, please tell me it's one of my favorites. It's Watchmen, Logan, and Joker. Those are my three favorite, like, comic book inspired, you know,
like villains or superheroes kind of thing.
Even though Watchmen was really close to the comics.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm not personally really big into comics or even like the history of DC or Marvel comics. I appreciate it. I think that without those, obviously, we wouldn't have the movies that we have today.
We would never have this movie.
And I'm also not really a big fan of, like, superhero movies. Which kind of might be a shock for some people.
You liked Infinity War, though, didn't you?
I actually have never seen it.
You never seen Infinity War? Or did
No.
you never see Endgame?
I didn't see either.
You didn't see... Man, you're gonna like that one.
Like, I don't know. It's
He's
just not
always...
really,
Yeah.
It's not really something that interests me. Like I said, I can appreciate it. If someone were to be like, hey, let's watch it, and, you know, we're, like, hanging out, sure, I'd watch it. Like, I don't have an issue with it. It's just not really my forte. I'm not going to go to the theater to watch it.
Yes.
And, like, the Stan Lee cameos and stuff.
Oh.
You know, rest in peace.
I'm so glad I got to meet him. Such a kind
You know,
man.
things like that. I appreciate stuff like that because he is the reason why we have Marvel.
Yes.
And so, like, I appreciate things like that, but the one superhero movie that I've always been able to go see is the Batman movies.
Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah. 2 was probably my favorite.
2 was amazing.
The first one, I was a kid, so
Green
I was pretending
Goblin.
to be Spider-Man all the time, you know?
But yeah, like Spider-Man 2, I like, even though people are like, oh, but I love that film.
Yeah.
Doc Ock.
And then there was 3.
We liked it at the time.
Anyway.
You know, what, the only reason we liked 3 at the time because we finally see Venom, even though it was a shitty version.
Yeah. But you also saw, like, Dark
Sandman.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, you saw symbiote Spider-Man.
Which was kind of like a, you know, okay, this is like emo Peter Parker. It's kind of a dark take. In a way, it's kind of like...
I would do the dance.
It was kind of like Marvel's first reach into, like, dark kind of film for superheroes.
And the comics before the Disney buyout were really dark. You know, they didn't cut out language or anything. They'll have on a new Marvel comic, you know, on Disney it'd be like with your parental advisory and all the language is cut out. It's just a little bit of, it's just blood. It's like, why are you putting that on there when you had one issue to Punisher where a chick blows or burns up? Yeah. While she's on top of Frank. We're not going to get into that comic because it's absolutely bad shit.
I mean, even though I don't like read comics and watch a whole lot of superhero movies, like I have a general knowledge of it. I appreciate it, so we could talk for hours.
Punisher,
but like Punisher, love it.
Exactly.
John Bernthal's Punisher, love it.
Oh, he was so awesome in person, dude. Like I gave you a shout out.
Yeah.
I gave him a shout out. He's like, "Thanks for watching, man." I told him, "Thanks for watching." I was like, "No damn problem."
That was awesome. So with the depression, the mental health disorders, and like the cut funding, what's one of the things that stood out to you about that in particular that you either see with society or even just like within yourself or just like the unfortunate circumstances in the film itself? Like, you don't even have to get personal with it, but like, what were your thoughts on like, oh, they cut funding, you know, oh, I'm off my medicine, you know, things like that.
Oh, going off your medicine's crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm not like anybody that's just gonna be like, you know what I mean? Well, do the pencil trick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From the Dark Knight. Like, I'm not like that, but whenever you're on medication and when you get off, you know, I'm not saying I'm a violent person or anything like that, but it does throw your brain off.
Yeah, you get kind of like...
Especially with anxiety, as we do, and like, you know what I mean? It's like 1 minute we're fine and the next minute we're...
Yeah.
Different. It's like that type of thing, and with depression, if you take medicines for that, you forget, you know, it throws you off all the whack.
Yeah, your hormones are imbalanced, and you just kind of act different.
Yeah, people need it. Some people need it, you know, I mean, so there's other natural ways of doing stuff, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, it's like, with the whole, like, cut funding thing, and then him in...
Oh, in general, for the 80s.
Yeah, especially for the 80s.
The 80s was a horrible time.
Oh, yeah, for mental illness.
Now, it started a little bit more, stepped a little bit into it, and then the 90s, and then when stuff like Columbine and, you know, 9/11, these horrible tragedies, it's like, even though, you know, 9/11 is different, it showed the world, it's like, okay, the world, we're having a problem. Yeah. And then now, after all these shootings in movie theaters and stuff like that, like, it's absolutely horrendous. And the thing is, now, even now as we speak, mental health is finally starting to even move fast. It's on a slow route right now, but it's still going. But in the 80s...
They were like, whatever.
Yeah, they would throw you if they thought, like, it wasn't nothing like this. It was like in the 30s and 40s.
Oh, yeah, the 30s, they'd put you away for life, give you a lobotomy and just
the 50s and stuff, like, it was absolutely terrible. Like, if
Yeah.
you watch footage of that online, like, and stuff,
Oh, yeah,
on
it's
YouTube,
horrible.
it's horrible. Like,
Um,
watch that type of footage if you want to go in depth, but trust me, it'll make you sick, so you might have to get a trash. If you're not used to that type of shit, you might want to get a trash can, because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oof,
But the 80s, the way I felt, that when I seen the hospital in the 80s with his mom and stuff like that, it felt authentic.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's like it looked like they used equipment of that time era. The thing is, I loved also about this is set designs.
Yep.
I mean, it was
very
absolutely
time specific.
Yes.
It did. I don't think they mentioned an exact year.
I don't think
But
they did.
because at the beginning they mentioned a date, I yawned, so I missed the year. If they did mention it, I don't think they did. It was like March 11th or something.
It was something I can't
or March
remember.
15th. But it takes place like in the late 70s, would you say? Or like 80s?
Maybe early 80s.
Early 80s.
Well, what
Because like they have like a 40s era car there, and generally you see vehicles like that are like vehicles 30, 40 years ago. Rarely on the street, but you still kind of see it on the street.
Do you think that might have been a like opinion or question? Do you think that might have been just a noir thing for the film to make it look better?
Like the 40s era car?
Yes.
No, I mean if anything, it was to solidify.
I wasn't alive back
in.
then, so I don't know too much. And neither of us were alive back
Yeah.
then, so we don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, like there's people that still drive around now with like trucks from the 80s.
Yes.
And that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, it's like it still could be the 80s, and there's still every once in a while a person driving around a car from the 40s because it's lasted forever.
Now, what did you think? Like, sorry to cut you off on
No,
this
you're
subject.
good. You're good.
But do you remember when he is really becoming the Joker and they play the music?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what song it was, but I think it might have been mid '80s because it sounded like Blake had said it's like something they play at a football game, but I can't remember.
Oh, there was a song they play at football games. When I was younger, I used to play football for
The national, like
stuff. Yeah, and it was like,
yeah, as I was saying. So we need to. I'll put in a little one of the little details what year that came out. So
Yeah.
that means it has to be either that year or after.
Yeah.
So I'll find out.
I mean, and that song, when I heard that playing, I was like, okay. Because that was one of my favorite songs, like, during in-between plays and stuff. I'd just be like, oh, okay, cool, in the huddle. Yeah.
Do you think that song was more appropriate or something more darker? Like something like Sinatra?
I think where they had Sinatra, it was great.
Yes.
I don't think they should have put Sinatra in the part where he, like, accepted his
Yes.
role as Joker.
True.
I think the song that they chose, I honestly think everything they chose for the movie was perfect. It was a perfect fit to tell the story of a man's decline into insanity.
Yes.
And so, like, the scenes, like, with Murray and, like, the Frank Sinatra, Robert De Niro, in pretty much throughout his entire acting career, has been in mobster movies.
Yeah.
And generally, when you tie in mobster movies, you have Frank Sinatra. You have the 1940s, 50s New York kind of thing, and that's what Gotham basically is. It's based off of
feels like
the Jersey end of New York City.
And the way, how did you feel the talk show host and everything looked for that time? Was Murray
perfect? It was time specific. I felt like, honestly, with Robert De Niro playing as Murray, I felt like that was perfect. It was just one of those things where, like, it just kind of further solidified the time period and made it believable, even like on your subconscious level, where it's just like, okay, like, technology really wasn't all that big then.
Exactly. Look at the years before that with the 70s, with stuff like that, like MRI, like all that type of
and
medical gear.
Like the talk shows, for example, you generally had older men that were the hosts.
Yes.
And so, like, having Robert De Niro, who is basically the city slicker Italian American, it was cool to see that.
Slipping.
And it happens.
Always dropping.
It was cool to see that because I personally, from my Italian American background, I appreciate anything with Robert De Niro. I love.
Oh yeah, he's great, man.
I appreciate anything with Frank Sinatra. My grandfather. I have many fond memories of my
Dude,
grandfather.
we used to drink. We used to listen to Frank all Christmas, everything.
Anytime he came over to my house, we were listening to Frank and drinking wine and
exactly
pasta and
it's absolutely.
I grew up very Italian American.
Yes, you did.
It was spaghetti every week kind of thing.
I was always over.
Yep, it was great. And then we also had a shitload of food. Yeah, it's just like, hey, we're making a bunch of food. You want some?
Yeah, right across the street.
Yep. So I appreciate things like that. Maybe it's a little bit of bias, but I felt like the time era specific set for not only the hospital but also the talk show. Both of those were, in my opinion, just great additions to the film. I felt like it really sold the fact that it's a time that's not now as the years were happening.
Yeah.
And so it's I can relate to it. But with Joker, it almost seems so detached from reality now.
Yeah.
That it's
but it's still something that's thought about. You know what
exactly.
I mean? But not a lot of people thought it was like that. Me and you have known. And it's I hope this movie shows it's hey, how further we've gone in and with the suicide hotline and all these different programs and stuff. But now getting more wrapped up to the close of this movie.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Murray execution and Joker coming out and being, you know what I mean? He's introduced as a Joker and he's well, I killed those 3 men. How did you feel? When I read under the rated R thing, it was strong, bloody violence, and I told this Blake, and I was I don't see strong, I see bloody violence. This is a movie you don't have to worry about gore, but
in a way,
we didn't see any split guts.
Yeah, there's no guts or dismemberment per se, but there's a lot of blood.
Yes.
And the Murray execution in particular, it shows him shoot him in the head. Murray falls back, and the blood, hits the backdrop.
I clapped. So because it was such a.
It was a
epic
Scorsese style kill.
Yes.
That's what I loved about it.
Yes.
But that whole ending area, that was my favorite part of the movie. I love the Joker. I love it. I love Heath Ledger's Joker, Jack Nicholson Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Those are my top 3.
Not speaking of Joker, but Batman villain. What do you think about Danny DeVito as Penguin?
Honestly, I'd love to see him come back as Penguin, just because Danny DeVito doesn't give a shit.
He just needs to walk on set as Frank.
He just be Frank.
He's basically turned into Frank.
I'm surprised he wasn't in Joker in some way, because
oh my god, dude,
there were comedy elements throughout the movie too.
But what do you think about this uprising as well, where he literally got in the camera and started, a revolution?
Let's put on a happy face. He took something that his mother always said to try and distract him from the reality, the harsh reality of the world.
Yeah. And,
let's put on a happy face. Let's smile even though we're being beat down, we're being persecuted, so to speak.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as he saw the writing that he made in his journal that said, I hope my death makes more sense than my life, that was when he decided, I'm not going to kill myself. I'm going to kill this guy who just made fun of me.
And start
on live TV.
And start
and
a revolution.
On my way here, I also saw the 2 detectives that were chasing me get the shit beat out of them.
Yes.
Because one of them pulled a gun and shot a protester that, I wasn't really connected to, but I started, subconsciously.
Yeah.
And I think that fueled him.
And Gotham City was a very scummy place, it looks like at this moment.
Yeah,
which it leads up...
And it always kind of has been. Gotham City was always
That's why Batman's there.
Exactly, unless you were in the business district or near, Wayne Enterprises or at Wayne Manor. Everything else was kind of... I wouldn't say the slums or the ghetto, but it was definitely poverty-ridden, and there was a lot of struggling citizens.
Yes.
Crooked politicians, all the, the whole 9.
Mm-hmm.
And they play into that in this movie, where it's, the rich, blah, 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 down with Wayne Enterprises kind of thing. And that's what the riots are about. And, the thing that I love about this movie in particular is, it shows that, but it doesn't like politicize it so much.
Exactly. How did you think about the ending of the origins of how Bruce Wayne's parents got killed? In the theater, as soon as it happened, as soon as I saw the alleyway and saw of course, the pearls snap, I literally blanked and I was like, this is how it becomes, like, this is how it happens?
Yeah, and I like that it wasn't Joker that did it.
Yeah, it was always,
it was just a random guy that took off his mask and was like, hey, boom, you're dead.
Yes.
And then, the wife, she's like freaking out, and then he just shoots her and takes her pearls, which still stays canon to the Dark Knight series, because Bruce talks about how his parents were killed in the alleyway, and it was a robbery. They took
which has been in pretty much every Batman story.
Yeah.
Except I think with
because that was in the comics, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, the fact they still included that shows that Todd Phillips wanted to still respect the Batman universe and the lore. So you have the murder of Murray, you have the murder of the Wayne parents, and then you have this uprising, and the scene that honestly was probably my favorite. Circling back to the question that I had asked you at the beginning, the scene that was probably my favorite was when they get him out of the vehicle at the end, and he's on the hood of the cop car, and he realizes he's bleeding, and then he takes both of his fingers, puts it in his mouth, and makes the new smile. And that was where he was like,
I'm the Joker. The madness has started.
Yeah, he's 100%. Like, I run this now.
0 to 100 real quick.
I want to ask you something, though. What if, because we already saw it once in the movie, what if all this uprising and things like that was just him imagining it while he's in this insane asylum?
Because we see
he's in the insane asylum.
I don't think, because he even in 80s culture, I think they would have caught up to his ass.
Mm-hmm.
But when it shows him walking out with the blood on his shoes or on his feet, I think that, it could be possibly, but I think honestly they really picked him up, especially if they're talking about a sequel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's going to need an uprising, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I personally think that that's what happened.
It would have been a cool ending.
It was just one of those things where it's they did kind of leave it open-ended. It was what if he was just imagining all of this? He's been in the insane asylum, in Arkham Asylum, this whole time, and he's just imagining all this shit happening.
Yes.
Or he got picked up after he killed the one guy that he worked with, and the detectives are chasing him. What if they actually caught him, but he thinks he got away, and he made it to Murray's show and killed Murray, But in a way, also it kind of disproves that just with all the TV coverage of the Murray
and then
killing. And
if
stuff.
we get another Batman movie, it's like maybe Joker's working underground and stuff, doing deals, and it's like, you killed my parents, the Batman boys. And what if, Batman. You know what I'm saying? And what if they keep going off with that? It's like, well, you know what I mean? He's kill or be killed.
Mm-hmm.
But I have, to wrap up this movie, yes, we had the ending with, him walking out. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for Birds of Prey, but I know it's not going to be tied into this. But what do you think if they go the route of, because he meets Harley, because that's his doctor, doing psychiatry and stuff, and that's how she falls in love with him. Because he's our actual doctor in Arkham.
Oh, she is.
So that's how, that stuff turns out. So what if this whole time, with him killing the nurse or whatever, you know what I mean, the psychiatrist nurse or whoever it was, do you think he'd be thrown deep into an Arkham prison instead of what if he gets caught again for killing and they throw him in Arkham prison, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The big Arkham.
Yeah.
And then that's where Harley meets him as a patient because he's so far gone.
Yeah. That could be a thing as well. I've never even thought about that.
Yes.
But that's a good thing to think about, where it could also lead to a sequel or even lead to other canon events in the Batman universe.
This is not DCEU.
Yeah.
So that's what I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not connected to Justice League, Batman vs Superman, Aquaman. I think Shazam still counted as one of them. It's not all that. So I like if they will continue a dark. I would even like if they put the WB Black, like DC Black label. I think it's the Black Label series or whatever. Because they'll show you, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting into the real stuff. Because I think Birds of Prey is rated R as well.
Okay.
So I think now they're starting that they tested that water.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they've made this much money, they're like, screw it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like. A lot of people did not like the Birds of Prey trailer. I thought it looks like fun chaos, and if it's rated R,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just separately different than this film, but I think with this Joker, a question for you: do you think if he meets Harley, will she be as eccentric, outgoing, you know what I mean, stir crazy as the Harley that we've been getting in movie and comic book?
You know, that's actually a really good question because I personally wanted Sophie, the imaginary girlfriend, to be Harley Quinn. I thought she was.
Yeah.
Because, they kind of lead you to believe that, like, even though Arthur's losing it...
Yeah,
like, even though Arthur's losing it, you still, like, see that she's there for him.
Yeah.
But then, later on you realize that that's not the case. And I legit kind of got bummed out about it. I was like, dang it. Like,
Blake said that we were talking about it. I was like, damn, I thought that was going to be Harley. We were talking about it, but I was like...
And I feel like she would have made a good Harley, actually.
She'd have been great.
But
she had a child as well, so I don't know if she would have dove deep down.
Yeah, but in Gotham, does that really matter?
Not really. But I like with the theory that I was just thinking of, like, it'd be cool if he gets sent to somewhere harder in Arkham and, like...
And that's how he meets Harley.
That's how he meets Harley. And then maybe that's what causes even more of the mayhem to happen. Because I don't know if it's true, or, like, if it's a rumor or not, but we're getting a Poison Ivy movie.
Really? Which
is one of my favorites. Like, I like Harley, I've been learning more and more about her and stuff, but I think Poison Ivy has to be my favorite.
You know who I think would make a good Poison Ivy?
Who?
Either Scarlett Johansson or Christina Hendricks.
That would be good. I think Scarlett's got that Marvel locked down, so I don't know if she'll be able to cross
I don't think she'd be able to.
I know one time I think they were talking about, like, Megan Fox, and I was like, no. I'm like, I'm not going to throw shade at her.
Does she still do movies?
I don't think she does. I think she's retired, actually.
Okay.
But thinking of, like, a really good, man, there's so many people. Dude, even it'd be hard to say because she's also Harley, but Margot Robbie would be great.
Yeah.
Emma Stone.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
Yes. I also would love her to be Gwen Stacy in a Spider-Gwen movie because she was in the 2 Amazing Spider-Mans as Gwen Stacy. So
that's right.
I think they asked her and she was like, "What the hell is Spider-Gwen?" And she was like, "Nah, I'm down. I'm not for it." But if she did, she'd make a shitload of money. But that would be somebody, an actress like that would be really good, Even if you get somebody that's not really famous. Yeah. Like the chick that was in Rogue One. Yeah. That played Jen, I could see her being a really good, you know what I mean, Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too, that I've also appreciated about, like, for example, the Star Wars films, the new ones. Some people don't like them, some people do, that's okay, But one thing I like is they give actors that no one really knows about an opportunity on the big screen. And that's how the original trilogy was. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, they weren't really popular actors.
No.
And, like, even in the first movie, episode 4, they didn't really take it seriously. They were just like, oh, whatever, it's a space movie. And then it blew up.
Raiders because, and we had all these movies. I mean, Carrie was in some stuff, but it's not like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, and, like, Harrison Ford has even said, like, he doesn't like Star Wars. Like, he doesn't like Han Solo. And, like, he knows that people love it, but he preferred Indiana Jones.
Oh, which I love. Yeah. I love Indiana Jones.
Love it.
But the thing is, also with Mark Hamill, he talks for the Joker and all the animated and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a little circle if they did that way. Like, I'm trying to think that the girl, Daisy, that plays Rey.
Oh.
I don't know if I could see her as Ivy, even though she would be a beautiful Poison Ivy.
No, I don't think so.
No. They'll get somebody good. After all this casting and stuff with DC, I'm starting to have faith.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely have a lot more faith in the DC movies than I did before, because for the longest time, Marvel has dominated the movies.
And it seems like DC has been trying to follow that, but you know what I mean? Stuff keeps falling through, they lose directors,
and
you know what I mean?
I think what DC's doing right with like movies like Joker, I think what DC's doing right with Joker is they're doing what Marvel can't do now.
Exactly.
Because Disney acquired Marvel.
Well, they acquired Fox, too, which made Logan and, you know what I mean, Deadpool.
And, like, Logan and Deadpool are probably the darkest Marvel films there are.
Blade.
And Blade.
As well.
Okay.
But that's an old school. I don't know how
in terms of, like, modern times.
Yes, modern.
But
Venom.
But
it was PG-13. I wish we would have got that R cut.
Yeah, like, they don't
now,
do,
if
like,
Venom was released right now,
mm-hmm.
I think it would be that R cut.
Yeah.
We would have got the R cut that was promised.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But I think that's where DC's catching up now.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, Marvel can't do R-rated movies?
Disney?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's try it.
And
let's test the water.
They pushed the limits with The Dark Knight, even. You know, him blowing up the hospital. With Heath Ledger's Joker blowing up the hospital.
The improvise where it wouldn't work, so it finally...
yeah, and it like scares
improvised.
Him. You know, like, DC can definitely redeem themselves, especially after this Joker.
It feels like it.
Curious to see what they do next with the Batman series as a whole.
Next, right now, we have Birds of Prey, which
Birds of Prey, and then you have the Robert Pattinson Batman, which we were also saying we feel like Robert Pattinson will actually do a good job with it.
We got to watch the Lighthouse trailer because I haven't seen it full. It's the guy that did The Witch. You know what I mean? Like, we'll check that out. But like, we might even see that, and people will be like, "Oh, damn, he can even act even better." So we'll figure it out whenever it goes. But to end this, like, I'm glad you were able to come on and stuff.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, we were able to.
I've been talking forever about this.
Yes, like, sorry for the length of it, but we got a real discussion. Hopefully, you know, it gave you some information. But before we get off, like, share, and subscribe, and comment below and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But this movie is a 10 out of 10.
Yep, 100%.
I give it a 10 out of 10. Like, this is a like.
It's one of my top 5 favorites.
Yes, same here. So if you haven't seen this movie and you've listened to the spoilers and everything, because I know there's a lot of people that's like, I'll hear the spoilers, but I'll still go see the movie, you know, to see if these guys say they're good. But I think this was a very good film. You know, don't believe the fear and stuff. You know, past that, go see this movie and you'll have a great time. You know, I wouldn't bring the kids, even though I don't have any children. But
don't bring your kids, please.
Yeah,
it's something like.
If they've seen Logan,
or like
Saving
Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, you know, things like that. If they're already exposed to that,
like when we were kids,
sure, like I watched Saving Private Ryan at 7 years old.
Oh, yeah.
My parents were pissed,
and then we kept watching it.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
We love you.
Yeah. So
yes,
I would give this movie 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, 100%. Like, it was arguably the best movie I've seen in the last 2-3 years.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, I highly recommend you guys to go see it.
Don't take your kids. Unless they've seen Logan and...
Yeah, Logan, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down.
It didn't have a lot of language. It was where it needed to be.
Exactly.
Where it isn't like in real life.
Yeah, the language... So, the thing with this movie, and why I say don't bring your kids, it's not really like they're dropping F-bombs left and right. You know, it's not a war zone.
There's no Batman, but there's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, there's no Batman. There's Bruce Wayne cameo. But the reason why I say don't bring your kids is, for one, they will not understand the entire meaning behind the movie of, you know, just getting the crap kicked out of you. I don't think it would be a good example to give to children, even because it's one of those movies where, like, you have to be able to process, like, good from bad.
I can see this movie being showed in film class.
Oh yeah. This definitely a film. It's not a movie. It's a film.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't bring your kids unless they are fully aware of right and wrong, and, you know, what you should and shouldn't do as not only a citizen but also a person, a human being, and being able to differentiate a movie from reality.
And they will be extremely bored.
They'll be bored for 90% of the movie.
Slow burn, we love it, but, you know, some kids, they just want action.
And there are also scenes that are graphic. It's not gory like Saw. There's no nudity.
Why did they put nudity in the thing? Just because it showed a little picture of, like, a chick naked and his...
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, DC was just like, okay.
I mean, that's just kind of how the rating system goes, even if there's a split second of it. Like in the beginning of, 30 Days Later or whatever? Or 28 Days Later, I mean, sorry.
Yes, where it shows his dong.
Yeah, just right there at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like,
even though it's
right
like a
on.
5-second scene, it's
Yeah.
like R.
That movie's fantastic. We're gonna review that one day.
That's
It's
a good
on
movie,
Geek
too.
Radar as well.
But with that being said, there's also scenes where it shows murder, like does not cut away.
Yeah.
If you've seen The Departed, you'll know what I mean.
Elevator scene.
The elevator scene, yes. So like, you just don't bring your kids unless they're old enough to understand.
Teens.
But
yeah,
teens.
Yeah.
We were fortunate to kind of be able to grasp that early on. A lot of kids do. Kids are smart.
Yes. Especially
so,
these days. Isn't it?
Yeah, and so like, you know, if you feel like your kid is able to process that, then take them. Sure. But at least for the first time, go watch it for yourselves. Enjoy it. And really like pick it apart. I'd love to see what you guys have to say in the comments.
I can't wait to see it. You know, for Geek Radar, I'm glad I got you on here. You know what I mean?
Thank you for having me again. I really do appreciate it. And again, I'm SaintKai. I'm on Twitch. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/SaintKai. And then if you want to chat with me about the Joker, Geek Radar, video games, anything really like media kind of thing. You can
even subscribe for us from your channel. It'd be pretty cool because we're gonna do many videos.
You guys can message me or tweet me at SaintKai TV, all one word, and also at Geek Radar. We'd love to see what you guys have to say about Joker, about any of the other films that Geek Radar has reviewed.
Exactly.
And I'm extremely grateful to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Much. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and comment below on stuff that you would like us to review or watch or react. And like I said, I'm glad I got you on the show. And you know, people from Geek Radar, you know, are fans and stuff. Go and check out his channel because it's really good. Yeah. And this has been a great episode, and it's a great film. Yeah,
incredible film.
So I'm excited. I'm so glad I got you on here, and I'm so glad that you stuck with us watching, even though we've rambled a pretty good bit. But
that's the Geek Radar tradition.
Yeah, that's the Geek Radar tradition, and this movie was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, until then. I'm Tyler.
I'm Kai.
And you've been watching Geek Radar. And like, share, and subscribe. We're having a giveaway at 100 subscribers. So check that out.
Do it.
Alright. See you guys.
Later, guys.